Hola, hola, de regreso. Welcome back, y'all. This is how to stretch a teacher's income. These are just ideas to help you have more money on a monthly basis, right? Because we all know that pay ain't a lot. Woo! You got that job. Now it's time for you to get paid. Living that life of money and fame. Except we all know that that's not really the case, is it? Unfortunately, this job does not pay that great. And there are definitely ways that your credit card bills can go way up. We're going to talk about a few ways to help you stretch that paycheck. The first hot tip right here is you need to make sure that you have a budget. I don't know what you want to, if you want to call it a budget, if you want to call it a cash flow check-in, whatever it is that you want to call it, you need to know where your money is going. Because if you're not paying attention, you will spend that $900 ASAP, like 2 days after it hits your bank account. The very least, please, please, please make a list of bills that you're paying, fixed income, and figure out what else that you want to enjoy during that time, because you need to stay below budget, like literally, or else you're going to be in so much debt and it's going to be insane. Number 2 is student loans. So figure out student loans wise where you're at. There are some grants that you can get to help reduce your student loans. I had a friend who was very fortunate and was able to pay off his student loans like the first year, but that's because he was paying aggressively and was like literally throwing all his money into it. After your 6 months of not having any interest, it compounds really quickly. I think there's quite actually a few of STEM grants and scholarships that you can apply for. It's always better, of course, to use the scholarships while you're in college. That way you never have that debt afterwards. But if unfortunately you do have that debt, make sure to look at those grants. And it will take you an afternoon of looking them up and seeing what applies to you. There are some that, like if you're working in a specific kind of school or if you are teaching a specific subject, I highly recommend that. With your student loans, you can fill out an application that allows you to pay less depending on your income. Do it, because that will reduce it. I did it and I had to pay like $122 a month, which was beautiful because you girl was broke. Unfortunately though, with income based, then it like starts going up or like goes up every few years or something. So now I'm paying like $300. It's not wonderful that I still have it, but you know, the earlier you can pay off your student loans, the better, because you don't want that kind of debt later on. The third tip or thing that you can do is with your housing. I doubt that there's any teacher that could honestly live by themselves that first year. If you can live from home or live with a family, please do that. You could save some money. Even if it's like, oh, here, I'll give you $200 for groceries or utilities, that's still gonna be cheaper than paying a full amount for rent. If you don't have the privilege of living with family, then what you can do is also get a roommate. Sometimes there are places where you can rent by room. My biggest recommendation is your first year at least, try to live like a college student. If you can get that kind of housing, do it, especially if any of you have heard of like being financially independent. Dragging these loans and putting yourself further into debt is the worst thing that you can do. And also, come on guys, teacher struggles here. You don't want that kind of debt later on because it'll be stressful. If you have the opportunity to live at home, this is beautiful because this will help you out a ton with living costs. I moved because I was not teaching in an area that was, well, it technically could have been drivable, but your girl was not going to drive more than 20 minutes to work. Yeah, we're learning from our mistakes. So I decided to move out and I was renting. So I was paying like $900 to $1,000 a month for rent. So right there, it's already like 50% of what I'm getting a month. I actually had a roommate my first year, my boyfriend at the time. Don't tell me, abuela. And I didn't know that he was actually planning on proposing, which makes sense now because I was like really confused to why my parents were cool with me moving out that first year. Because if you know Mexican parents, they're like, te quedas aquí until you're like 50. But yeah, then we lived together and that helped a ton because obviously we split everything else, so groceries and bills and stuff. And so I should have been paying back my loans, but here we are. We're learning from our mistakes. Number 4 is, this is the boring thing that when you're signing all the benefits and the insurance stuff, but it is so important and you need to think about it as like, this is money. So if you're a person that has very minimal like health stuff, there's a chance that an emergency is going to happen. If you know that you like, I do my preventative care, I eat healthy, I exercise, whatever, and I know I'm healthy overall, then maybe you don't necessarily need the highest level of insurance, right? The basics is sometimes better for you. Depending on what you need, make sure that you're getting that benefit. Talk about HSA or flex spending, whatever works best for you. But get informed about this information because that is money that is getting taken out of your paycheck. You want to make sure that your insurance is for you, that you need. Once you get older and you can start including a family, it doubles, triples sometimes. I know that when I had my kid, adding her onto my insurance made it triple almost. If you are, again, another privilege, if you're privileged enough to stay on your parents' insurance, depending on what age you are and whatnot, that is also a huge benefit if you are able to, because that means that money that you would have been paying insurance to, you can actually take home as well. The other thing with this is also check retirement stuff. If your work matches your deposit into your Roth, or do it. It's free money, because think about it. If you end up at the end of the year, you pay $2,000 towards your retirement and your boss is matching that, dude, that's $4,000 already. And that's going to accrue more interest and it's going to be beautiful. So when you retire, you're going to have money. Okay. And that's a whole other thing. But my recommendation is if you're getting matched, get to the highest. It's going to benefit you in the long run. I hope that makes sense. Let me know. If it's not making sense, I will explain it differently. But there we go. So benefits, make sure that you are choosing what you need. And then of course the retirement stuff, get matched. That is free money. Please make sure that you're doing it. Fifth thing is grocery wise. Don't go into the grocery store hungry. Make sure that you have a list that you have meals in mind that you're going to make that week. My recommendation for that too is that if you are purchasing food, say like apples, oranges, bananas, whatever, that you're buying food that you're going to eat that week. Because that way, first, you reduce food waste, which is a terrible thing in the United States. Don't let it go bad. But also because it will help reduce your grocery costs. So for example, my family of 3, I only buy what I need for the week. So for example, I'll buy like an apple and 2 oranges, maybe some grapes and bananas, because those are our favorite snacks, right, for our kid and us. Instead of buying like 10 apples and then 3 of them go bad because we don't eat them in time. Like we right now as a family of 3 spend like $70 max typically. And that's with like getting all of our goods. And the big reason why we do that is because we do like to eat out once a week. And the big thing with this is be intentional with your money. Another thing with groceries too is like be conscious of where you're going to go grocery shopping. If you're a person who likes Whole Foods, then cool, that's fine. Go get your food there, I guess. But again, be intentional. Another thing that I like to do is I like to go to like Aldi or Daily Deals, where I know I'm going to eat the food within the next 6 days. So first of all, supporting with the benefits thing, make sure that you're eating healthy. Like, don't just eat chicken nuggets all day long. I'm not saying don't eat Doritos ever, because your girl loves Doritos and I will for sure get them like once a month or so. But be smart about it. Like, obviously you want to make sure that you're eating healthy to keep yourself healthy, reduce the amount of times you have to go to the hospital or have a heart attack, etc. All that good stuff. So what you're putting into your body, it matters. Make sure that you're investing in your own health and in your life. It will help you if you take a lunch with yourself and snacks and stuff. If you meal prep your stuff so you don't have to teach all day, come home and then be exhausted, and then you have to cook for yourself too. It'll make you lazy and it'll make you want to just pick up fast food. So keep that in mind. If you want me to talk about grocery stuff, because I know it's a lot, but systems that I've started or that I've put into my life that have made my life easier as a parent and a teacher, let me know. Numero 6 is coupons. I know this is like the extra one. If you really want to go extra, you can. There's stuff like Fetch Rewards and stuff like that, or Rakuten or whatever grocery, like Meijer has M-Perks and etc. So like if you're constantly going to one store and they have those programs, use it. Why not? I mean, you're spending the money there anyway. So if you're going to get like $3 back or some extra coupons for free milk or 50% off eggs, do it, because you're going to be saving money. Even if it's like $4, that's like a bag of Doritos. And honestly, like it will save you like $10 maybe a month. But if that's $10 for Hulu or Netflix. And my last one, this is for those of you going hard and you're like you're aiming for financial independence. If you're really aiming to get rid of that student debt, to get rid of anything in your first year, and you're like, yes, I want to do all I can, this will take time, but I really recommend that mindset of minimalism and sustainability is so important in changing the way that you think about money and things, because it makes you more intentional with what you purchase, with what you bring into your house, with your life. I was not very intentional when I was teaching my first year. And I also used to buy a ton of things for my classroom, which was ridiculous because I didn't actually have one classroom. I was like moving around. I had like 3 different classrooms. And so it was just ridiculous because that stuff just ended up staying in my office. And if you see behind me, none of the stuff from that first year, except for my little dinosaur, one of my students had that and they would share custody. Anyways, and I still have that. So that's the only thing from my first year of teaching that I still have. Everything else was replaced. So when you are buying things for your classroom or for yourself in general, be intentional about it. Think about, is this something that I need right now? Is this something that I will get to use for the rest of my time teaching? Is this something that like really adds value to your life? Because if it's not, then maybe you don't need it, right? I mean, this is for you to decide. If you're interested in minimalism, I recommend to go check that out. Just on YouTube, look it up. You'll find lots of things about it. And then the other thing is sustainability, because sustainability is really the idea of trying to be earth friendly and intentional about the things that you put into your life, because you don't want to cause extra damage or bring extra plastic into your life. This does not mean that you need to go plastic free or that you need to stop buying things completely. It just means that you're being more intentional about the things that you buy are meant to last longer, or that the quality is better, that you're not buying fast fashion, right? So that was one big thing that I switched, and instead of buying stuff every single week, going to the mall, I bought pieces that I really loved when I was going to thrift stores. Yeah, so those two mindsets are just make you more intentional about the way you're spending your money. So those were 7 tips to help stretch your income that first year, or at any year, honestly. Because we all know that teaching ain't where the money at. But anyways, if you have any other tips or any ideas on how to be intentional with your money or help you increase your income, please let me know below. Hasta la próxima. Ciao.
The only thing I ever wanted starts with us taking the chance. Not like anything we've done before. Yeah.
Y'all, did you see I just poked myself in the eye?